Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Yeah, it's the Full Force early is what it is, isn't it? Coming at you a day early, guys. I hope you're sorry, I'm sliding all over the place. I hope you're having a great Friday. Pat, how was your Friday so far?
Well, just kind of beginning, actually. For me.
I see how it is. Straight out of bed, rolls into the full force. Is that how it's...
Unless you want to be technical. And then I was burning the midnight oil, and I was getting some stuff done last night, so...
You shouldn't be burning the candle from both ends, mate. You know how that ends. Anyway, to everyone in the comments already, I hope you guys are having a great Friday. It's not Saturday yet, Troy, not yet, but we are making it Saturday, aren't we? We're going to do this thing where we're doing it today, and then all the news breaks in about 5 minutes' time, right, Pat? That's usually what happens.
Yeah, that happens more though whenever we were doing things on Saturdays, I think, because we used to record on Friday. Now that used to happen to us a lot on Friday, especially because you'd be editing on Friday. So we would finish our recording, and then stuff would break, and then we'd look like we could just completely missed huge news.
I had to do like a news burst afterwards.
Yeah,
it's just extra work. Don't like it. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a great time. Full Force Friday, or Full Force Friday. Finanza, says Michael Gene Fleming. I like that. I like that. I prefer full, but I get what you're saying. We are a bunch of fools. Anyway, lots of news this week. Of course, it's been another stonking week of G.I. Joe news. And like I said, there's probably going to be stuff happening as we're on today. There's probably going to be stuff that happens after today. But you know what? Tough.
I hope there's some stuff that happens after today. And I don't know what stonking means.
Good. Amazing.
Brilliant.
Okay. Anyway, it was autocorrect, says Michael. So it should have been full, or it should have been a worse word. It should have been a worse F word. Damn autocorrect. Ducking autocorrect. Anyway, yeah, we've got a lot planned, so let's get stuck in, I guess. The Figure Six-Pack says, y'all ready for Cobra Convergence fan event? Actually, yeah, we're going to be doing a special Cobra Convergence weekly on, I think, the 8th, whatever Saturday that is, close to then. I think it's the 8th. And Pat, are you doing anything for Cobra Convergence for Articulated Points?
Yes, toward the end of the month. And am I ready for it? Like, mentally, but I still have some prep work to do.
I feel you on that. Anyway, yeah, so that'll be something that we get involved with in July. We're still in June, though, so let's continue our... I suppose we're continuing JoJo June, aren't we, Pat? We're literally continuing JoJo June for everybody. So next up, then, is a bit of Bradford Exchange news. You can go ahead and file this one under Random Licensed Product, as unique collectibles company The Bradford Exchange revealed their brand new G.I. Joe collection this week. The collection features illuminated sculptures of Duke, Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes statues, an illuminated sculptural clock, and an illuminated electric train set. The items range from $59.99 to $179.99, and you can check them out via the links in the description below. Yeah, this is weird. I wasn't expecting this. Were you, Pat?
No. I don't think I could fairly say that I was totally expecting a Bradford Exchange illuminated series of toys.
Absolutely mind-blowing. So we've got lots of different sort of things going on here with this one. We've got 3 different types of collectible that they're doing, starting with these like sculptural illuminated statue type things. We've got Duke, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes. Any of these tickling your fancy, Pat?
I think that they're neat. The fact that they're new sculpts and that they aren't just something borrowed, it says a lot. I think that's cool. As I understand it, this is a subscription sort of thing.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so you kind of get in at 59.99 for one, and then you're
And
stuck
then the
with the
others
other
start
two as well.
showing up at 59.99. And I don't know that these are the only three. I think that they may have shown the first three, and
Yeah,
then
that's a
they will
good point.
continue past this.
Yeah, definitely. I will say there's some interesting things to point out here. Yes, one, the sculpts are all new and cool and different. I know the Snake Eyes is modeled off that famous. I want to say, was it the Rise of Cobra pose? Or
Yeah,
was
I think
he?
that this is a Ray Park pose.
I was going to say it's either a Ray Park pose or Ray Park was copying another pose, but then you get kind of convoluted and messed up there.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I think they've basically utilized Ray Park's pose and done it as a version 2 Snake Eyes, which is pretty cool. Surprised not to see Timber on there though, with him on the art and back behind him.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I doubt that Timber is his own month subscription.
Could you imagine? That would be wicked. Actually, I'd be into that. Interesting artwork chosen as well. We've got the 25th Duke there with the jetpack. I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel like the fact that they painted over that original Duke for the Tiger Forces had weird echoes throughout time.
That's so true. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, but it's affected definitely affected our time stream, hasn't it? Massively for Duke art. And then obviously Cobra Commander looks like it's the classic. I'd say it's probably 25th anyway, but still the classic style and version, as is Snake Eyes and Timber. Yeah, interesting stuff. Again, not my cup of tea, but it is pretty neat that they're doing this. And I kind of want to see how the illumination works because it's not 100% clear on that. I guess it's like the back card is illuminated, but I want to see how that works. It kind of looks interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could look cool with the explosion effect happening for each figure. But obviously, you'd need some light coming from the front. Otherwise, it's just going to silhouette them.
That's true. Yeah. They just like completely black them out. And then, of course, we've got the clock, which is hella crazy. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. We've got the Joes at the top. We've got Scarlet, Duke, and Roadblock. Again, like kind of new sculpt kind of things, but like modeled on like sort of existing artwork, which is quite interesting too. Like I recognize that Duke head just looks like the 25th art from it again, but like obviously they've sculpted it from there. Scarlet's got an interesting visage though. She looks very different there. Good, not bad, just looks very different there facially.
I kind of feel like this reminds me of some other art that we've seen though for the retro series.
Oh, are you thinking about what was it when they did artwork for a game? I think it was the Warships game, Gunship Battle. And they had some different kind of classified-ish kind of artwork going on.
I don't know. I'm definitely thinking of that art that was showing up for. It was like that stuff that wasn't quite used. We thought it was going to be the retro packaging, and then it was just like an end cap display at Walmart.
Oh yeah, that the Lincoln Design Company did for the website, and then it ended up being kind of utilized on the website a little bit. And then, like you say, on the end cap, but then not. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and then there was, I think it might have been last JoJo June it was used, maybe, or one of the other live streams or something that we saw a lot of it.
Yeah, they would use it for some of the graphics when they were saying, "Oh, a fan stream's coming up," and then you'd get that kind of that retro. I think it was the 40th one specifically. It was the 40th celebration live stream they used it for. I
think you're right.
Ed says the ninjas just dangling off the bottom tickles me. Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. Yeah, just hanging out, fighting on those wires again, like from like retaliation. Toy Bounty Hunter says I like the Commander statue the most. But yeah, Cobra Commander looks pretty dope. And I'm guessing Toy Bounty Hunter is referring to the previous ones we were looking at as well, which is totally cool. He also says it's a one and done, so I might actually try to get the clock. Good point, I guess. Do Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes swing on the hour? That would be amazing, and I hope so. But probably they're just hanging there they're just like that the whole time.
Yeah, they clashed every hour. That could be amazing.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's cute and it's fun, but it's probably, again, I'm probably not going to be getting this.
I wonder how big it is.
Are you getting this, Pat?
No,
Oh.
I don't think I'll be buying this, but
Not-
I do
not-
think that it's interesting. Like, I would love to see somebody's GI Joe collection, and then just happen across this. The cape on Cobra Commander, I think, is super interesting, just to kind of give a feeling of motion to the
Yeah.
characters.
It's also a little shorter than usual, isn't it, on his
Yeah.
on his body? But again, no, I think it looks pretty cool. I think him, Destro, and the Baroness look pretty dope actually as well, sculpturally. I love all the kind of material on his pants as well, kind of like really like loads of folds and stuff. It looks awesome. It's cute, like I said, not really my bag, but I would be interested to see this in person, definitely. Yeah, coolsies. There's obviously the train, Pat. Now, G.I. Joe is kind of we'll get to that bit, smirky. We'll get to that bit in a second. Shout out to Phil. This will all make sense in a second, guys. But before we get into that the audience don't know what we're talking about, trains are kind of synonymous with G.I. Joe a little bit, because we've had the kind of the vintage kind of set, and obviously episodes like around trains as well in the Sunbow universe. So what are your thoughts about this?
This is really strange to me and interesting. It's not like this is a train that's supposedly taking place in universe, I don't think, like the original Tycho train. So it's almost like a celebration of G.I. Joe, the train. And
there's one more train I forgot about. Do you guys remember? I think it was like a Saturday morning cartoon thing in the US, something Express. I can't remember. Anyway,
the USA Cartoon Express.
Yes, that was it.
I
said all of the words, Pat. I just didn't say them in the right order then, didn't I?
Right. That was for the US. That was for the USA Network.
Yeah.
And they would rerun like Inspector Gadget and G.I. Joe and a bunch of things, and it was on USA Cartoon Express.
And of course, Duke and Scarlet show up on that train in their little bumpers and everything, which I thought was really fun. And I did catch that live once when I went out to the US to watch, and I was watching TV, and I was like really like excited that I saw a G.I. Joe character in a different animation that they'd done separately. It was like it was mind blowing. But anyway, there you go. Ed's told us.
There's also a canceled G.I. Joe set. There was going to be a train.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not the oddest thing I've ever seen, is what I'm getting at, because it's obviously there's train precedent with G.I. Joe,
sure.
But this is, you're right, this is very weird. It does feel like, you're right, it feels like a celebration. This almost feels like you'd see this going past on like a special Memorial Day for G.I. Joe or something in their universe. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing, like kind of flashing up as they go past and everything. One of the most interesting things, though, Pat, we'll get to the crux of the issue that I know you're dying to talk about. Do you want to set the scene many moons ago when YOJOE was being filled out by Phil?
Well, yeah, we've got a couple slides before that, but yeah,
it's just that, though, isn't it? Really, and then the HISS tank. There's the HISS tank.
Yeah, and this HISS tank is not just one of the smaller ones placed on there. You could tell that this is sort of a new sculpt, or at least a new print of the 3D file of the HISS tank.
Oh, I think that's the HasLab one, Pat. I think they put the HasLab one on there because it's a big train.
Yeah, you get the whole thing again.
Imagine the train on that bad boy, the size of it. It's an actual train in that case, isn't it?
Sorry, yeah, maybe this is how they're planning on getting the HISS tank to everyone. They're just delivering it via miniature train.
Imagine if that was cheap.
Neighborhood of make-believe. It just goes through that track right into your house. Then the HISS tank comes out.
That would be amazing. I can see it now. Oh, yeah. That's brilliant. Anyway,
at some point while Philip was working really hard on YOJOE, which he always was working hard on YOJOE, it was decided that all of the file cards should be typed out, so that it's not just a matter of being able to read the file, but also being able to see it on the text on the page, so that it would size properly for people looking on their phones or whether you're looking on a computer. So, you know, Philip was going about retyping out every file card for the website. And he got to the hiss driver. And whenever he did the hiss driver, he made a couple of mistakes. For one thing, like the word hiss, he forgot the period after the S. And that's not the part that I'm laughing at. Everybody makes a small mistake. But very few of us have it immortalized.
Every single time!
On the retro packaging for the hiss driver.
Amazing.
Because the bigger mistake, that if it was just the dot after the last S, you know, it'd be one thing. But the spelling also of the word recruits, that it doesn't have the second R in recruits. And it showed up on the retro packaging for the hiss driver. So clearly somebody at Hasbro was like, this will be easy enough. Copy, paste from Philip's typo that we can no longer correct because we no longer have access to YOJOE.
That's the even better part. That's even better. It's like it's unless we can get a communicator Hasbro, which I don't want. They might see this, but if I'd rather that just stays canon for the rest of humanity. Yeah, big time. He
makes one small mistake, and here it is going around on a train.
Shout out to Phil. He gets an early shout out for that amazing typo. Oh, that's so good. I mean, yearly recruits, I guess. Yeah. Yearly recruits.
And the fact that they truncated the file, because clearly this isn't the whole thing.
No.
They cut it short. They cut it short, but decide to stop on recruits.
There's so much genius about it. Seriously.
It's even moved from the package onto the item itself and is celebrated.
This is unbelievable, isn't it?
It's so perfect. And I wonder if they see this, if they're going to change it, or if they will catch it. I actually do want to see one, you know, somebody's review of one of these trains to see if it ends up on the final item, because obviously this is a render.
That's true. Maybe it was one of those things where, yeah, they just did a quick, let's get it over there and we'll deal with it later sort of scenario. But I also think that we're going to see recruits for the rest of our lives, which is
that makes me happy. When I saw this was on there, my fingers were crossed. Like, it was one of those things where I couldn't look for it fast enough.
Yeah.
It just
the funny thing, I didn't even notice that the hiss driver card was involved in the train because I was too busy sharing images and doing all that crap and not really looking at it. And then when you message in the group and Phil's typo has been immortalized again, I was just like, oh my God, that is perfect. Because I'm aware of that. We've talked about this in the past many times. Probably, I think with Phil, I think we talked about it when we did our panel about hiss tanks, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. I think when we did a panel about hiss tanks, we talked about it for Operation Armor, right?
Yeah, defo. That was, oh my God. Check those panels out, guys. We put a lot of work into those, and I thought they turned out fantastic, honestly. I watched the GeForce one the other day, Pat. It was oddly fun watching it back again, just us talking about a failed UK mail-away exclusive. Anyway, that is everything from Bradford Exchange, I believe. My goodness. I feel like I need the train just to get the blimmin' typo. I would also suggest, I think this is another subscription scenario, isn't it? With 1, 2, 3, and 4.
It is, yes.
So that, yeah, and I believe this is at the higher end. This was like $179.99, and you also get track and some other stuff as well. So this is a proper train set.
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine that there's probably an initial price and then maybe a smaller price following. I haven't actually made sure that that's true, but $179.99, I can't imagine that you're getting one piece of track and a bit of train. I would think that they would give you, enough track and then maybe another length or something each time, but also a car. They can't give you don't need the transformer and everything else every single time.
No, I don't think so. I think, I don't know. Again, the description doesn't actually explain it, so I wasn't 100% sure myself. But
I assume that this is an electric train.
It is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it comes with track. It comes with all the other bits and pieces as well. Like, yeah, you can definitely 100% operate this train on a track. Excuse me. Oh, says the train is 90 or 3 payments of 30. Maybe the clock was 179.99 then. I apologize.
Okay. So this is the whole thing then? I just kind of assumed that they would go past this if people were still subscribed.
Yeah, not sure. Imagine the typos they could get on other train bits as well.
Right.
Think of all the file cards Phil's written out. We need to go through all of them and get every single typo, or just mess them up. I know we can't like get into YOJO anymore, but yeah, we can't do that anymore. That'd be great. I would go back if we had access
from the comic or something like that one in Silent Interlude where they've miscolored that one panel that was eventually corrected, but just celebrate some of the small mistakes.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know.
That would be great. All the errors that have happened throughout that's
tossed in an like one of the worst animation errors from Sunbow.
Oh god, there's loads. There's White Iceberg would be a good one, wouldn't it? You could have White Iceberg going past, and you could have Mirror Universe Bazooka, because it's almost like a Mr. Negative, the way that they colored him. Like everything is the opposite kind of color on him on one of the animation cells. There's loads. I mean, animation, the train it'd be one of those ones you see that goes across the country and goes at 2 miles an hour, and you're sat there waiting at the train thing for like an hour for it to go past. Anywho, amazing stuff. Let's move on though, Pat, because we've got a lot to talk about. And the Bradford Exchange, while it was interesting and fun, there's a lot more to get into. So let's move into Hasbro City. On June 23rd, 2023, Hasbro City, the much-anticipated Hasbro-themed family entertainment centre, officially opened its gates to guests in the Paseo Interlomas shopping centre in Mexico City, Mexico. Fans of Hasbro and its iconic brands will now be able to experience action-packed fun and unique immersive experiences in this newly created entertainment destination. Hasbro City's extensive entertainment offering includes rides such as Monopoly the Ride, a suspended roller coaster which carries the rail on top, and where the passenger can control the speed, Power Rangers Battle, a state-of-the-art bumper cars track with 360-degree turns, and Zips Royal Flight, among many others. In addition to exciting rides, the new entertainment centre also offers character shows, interactive and virtual reality attractions, active play spaces, fun skill games, and food and beverage offerings, as well as the first Hasbro-themed store in the region. They even have a cheeky G.I. Joe section which was shown off on their Instagram Reels as a walkthrough video. Yes. Sorry, I was multitasking and forgot what was happening there. I'm in the middle of a weekly. Yes, Hasbro City has opened in Mexico City. This is kind of exciting, Pat, because this came out of nowhere. I got an email, like a press release email with loads of images and stuff. And I was like, what? I didn't even know this was on the cards, let alone open. And now it's here and it looks awesome. This looks like a lot of fun. I want one of these like nearby because this looks great. Well, I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw this pop up?
I didn't really know what to think, to be honest. I didn't know where it was located until you told me today, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's just been a lot of news and I've been busy. So
There's been a little bit of news. Yeah.
And I think it's funny that, G.I. Joe's known for the pit, but you got to walk upstairs to get to it.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, because the G.I. Joe section's great. You could already technically be underground and you're just going upstairs to a different section, but no, that's funny. And I like that. Also, Shooting the Galaxy is in the comments. Hello, Shooting the Galaxy, who does incredible work, by the way, on the classified diorama shots. Stunning work. Thank you so much. For all of the stuff that you do. Oh, Dragonfly shots alive. Are you kidding me? Pat, I can't believe this is happening. I can 12:25 and the Dragonfly shots are live. I cannot believe this. Breaking news that we can't cover. Amazing. And yes, they look. Are you looking at them now, Pat, like I am?
Yeah, at the HasLab page, the Dragonfly pictures.
Sensational stuff. Thank you for letting us know, Shooting the Galaxy, and also stunning work, by the way. Absolutely sensational work. Yeah, we're just going to stop now and just enjoy these images, guys. If you also want to do so, obviously go ahead and enjoy them while we're enjoying them. There's some beauties on here, in actual fact. I may do a live later to discuss this, Pat. Sorry, you're not involved in that. You can just chill out. You can just relax. I might do a little live later on to discuss this, but some cracking shots. Wild Bill looks great. Yeah, we'll cover that later. No worries.
Yep.
The Hiss Tank's in one of them as well. Oh, it's wicked. Okay, right. Thanks. Good timing. Thanks, Hasbro. So coming back to Hasbro City, Pat, and going into the G.I. Joe section. So what's going on here? So we've got a little stairway, goes up to this section here, and you've got like kind of rock-y, almost like movie pit style vibes, isn't it? And you've got Arashikage logos on the wall, and you've got the G.I. Joe logos and everything. And then you've got images of what is effectively classified figures of Roadblock, Duke, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes. And you can kind of see a few of them down the hallway here. Now, this is taken from a walkthrough Instagram like video. So you can the link's in the description for Hasbro City's Instagram page if you want to check that out. It does take it's on one of the longer videos, so you don't get to this G.I. Joe bit for quite a while into the walkthrough. So when I'm not sure how far along it is in the video, but it's pretty far along. Anyway, interesting thing to point out here, Pat. There's like a sort of animated classified Duke on that screen.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm imagining that it's a pretty simple bit of animation. I don't think that this is from anything. It's probably made specific for this.
Yeah. Robert H says it didn't completely come out of nowhere. Hasbro did make a deal with a company that makes the Lego lands about these before the pandemic. No, I know what you're saying, Robert H. What I mean is for us, it came out of nowhere because we weren't aware of that other stuff that was going on in the background. Not saying that they just magicked this in like like they just went, there it is, it's there. I mean, like, yeah, I was just completely unaware that this was happening. Obviously, there was a lot of news before the pandemic about, fairground rides and the Malaysian adventure camp and stuff like that. So there were lots of these kind of bigger G.I. Joe sort of related things within like a theme park sort of scenario going on before the pandemic. Excuse me. But yeah, I feel like I was just completely caught cold by this appearing in Mexico City. But really excited that it's happening because this might mean that they happen elsewhere, Pat.
Yeah, and I wonder how long this is going to be open. It looks like it's permanent for sure. So we'll see how successful it is. I think that I like the fact that it looks like in the following image, they're making use of that Cobra Island art.
Big time. Yeah, so as you walk through the hallway, there's like, weapons and stuff through like these glass kind of display cabinets on the walls with blue behind them and lit up. And then as you go through to this section at the back, there's like helmets and harnesses, and it looks like you can do some sort of, some sort of climbing wall scenario or something.
That's what I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's through the doors, right through the back. But they didn't actually go any further. They kind of turned around and then came back.
Maybe it's a zip line thing, like one of those zip line things, because that would make sense why you would need to walk upstairs.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Pat. That's why you're on the show. And also the Cobra Island poster with the kind of TV screens built into it looks so good. I would go just to check that out up close and personal.
Yeah, I'd love it if it was like the lines from Retaliation, the rock wall, and you have to just slice it a few ninjas on your way past.
You're given Nerf swords and you have to cut each other's ropes. That would be freaking amazing. They just
had a bunch of stunt men that I could just chop off, and that would be fun. That would be fun.
Robert says they say if this one does well, they're looking to having a US one and a Canada one. Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully it does really well then, because I want to see this definitely closer to home. Yeah. Anyway, anywho, I can't believe, Pat, they posted the Dragonfly pictures today. Like, I kind of also want to say, Chris, you should have known better because it's a weekday and we're at the end of YOJO June.
Well, we talked about that at the start of the episode, that there was going to be some fun news that was going to happen right away as soon as we got started, and boom, there it is.
It's like I just put the kiss of death on everything is effectively what I do. Every decision I make leads to this. Anyway,
well, you know, at this point though, there's a lot of GI Joe news on a regular basis, but even whenever there wasn't, it seemed like we would go live and like the one piece of news for the week would come up.
I remember those weeks where there was very little to talk about, and yet somehow we got like 2 stories and somehow we made it last like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Adam said, weren't they going to announce the last unlock? No, Adam, they were not. If you watch our roundtable interview, which is only like 2 hours long, so easy, right? But if you watch that, and we'll be breaking down the roundtable on this episode as well in a second, but they said that they would unlock they would show us the 3rd tier if Glenda was unlocked or if they got closer to the end of the campaign. So not at the end of YOJO June, because the campaign goes well into July. Does it? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Goes well into July. Well in. So yeah. So not just yet. Not just yet. Anyway, cool. Right. Well, that is Hasbro City, and funnily enough, I think next up is the roundtable, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
It is.
Look at that segue that was also tripped over horrendously by me. So yeah, roundtable. On Tuesday, we were invited to participate in a Hasbro G.I. Joe brand team roundtable Q&A with other G.I. Joe related outlets. Emily and Lenny revealed some cool upcoming details, dropped some name-only reveals, and gave a lot of insight into many different aspects of the brand. It was broken up into 2 separate segments, which we compiled for your viewing pleasure and posted the following day. Let's break down all of the info right now. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, good timing. Thanks, Adam, for the question, because that led straight into this. Also, if you're just joining us, we are aware that the Dragonfly images have been posted for those amazing Shooting the Galaxy images, and we will be doing some sort of live thing to talk about it a little bit after this. But we just, we're aware. Don't worry. So, boom. First up in the roundtable, and also thank you to Hasbro for inviting us onto the show to do that. That was very nice of them. Obviously, it's kind of become like a very a regular kind of thing now, where whenever there's like a lot of news, they tend to do like a roundtable about it, which is great. Anyway, the G.I. Joe section of Hasbro City also has laser tag. Apparently, I didn't say that, Rob H. Thank you for letting us know that. Laser tag, baby. That sounds fun. I hope you get like little G.I. Joe style Sunbow laser blasters to do that.
Oh yeah, I want to see what they look like.
That would be cool. They're probably not, but you know what I'm saying. Right. So first off, one of the main things that was mentioned, almost one of the earliest things that was mentioned in the first segment of the roundtable, was that, it was asked whether the unlock would be happening, as I've just explained previously there to Adam's question, and they said no. But let's tell you this: Classified Airborne is a name-only reveal. He's in mainline for 2024. He will not be part of the HasLab. So just to be clear on everyone, do not expect Airborne for the final tier of the Classified HasLab Dragonfly thing. Okay. They didn't want to lock him behind it, is effectively what happened. Are you happy with that decision, Pat?
Oh yeah, we've talked about this many times, that I kind of feel that a primary character should not be one of the unlocks, because, or even just a figure that was in the original run as a mainline toy should not be one of the unlocks, because to me it'd be a little weird for us to not get it as a part of the HasLab. Like if it didn't unlock, then to just offer it to us anyway for $25 at retail just feels like that's out of the spirit of even having the HasLab to begin with in some ways.
Totally.
But then the other part of it is, I don't feel like anybody who, loved Airborne as a kid, maybe that was one of the few Joes that they had, should have to buy an entire HasLab to get it.
Could you imagine?
I think this makes sense. I think there's also like some things that can be inferred from that interview, because I noticed that regarding the Night Force ripcord, Lenny said that he was happy to see that in there and that available, because that meant that he was going to be able to work on ripcord more. And that kind of made me think, oh, does that mean that there's not a standard ripcord coming? Like, at least not yet.
I think, I don't know, from that I would gauge that he just means he gets to do it another deco hit, another kind of round of work on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I would get from that.
Okay.
But the other thing, you mentioned that thing about Airborne, right? There are people in South America who would have had Glenda as like a figure, and like, oh great, I can't wait for the Glenda figure to come out.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, that would be on probably a much smaller scale, I'd imagine. I don't know. It was pretty popular in South America, wasn't it, JoJo? Fairly popular.
Yeah, especially in Brazil. It lasted a really long time, 1984 through 1990, I think, or 92.
Interesting.
Or maybe it was 95. I can't really remember. It was a long run. It was like an 8 or 10 year run.
Adam says nobody loved Airborne, Pat. Hello, Matt. Happy Friday, Chris and Pat. Love you guys and all you do. I have to go back to work, but wanted to say hi. Hi, Matt. Right. And yeah, there you go. Have a wave. And Airborne. So it's very likely this is what we're going to see in the main line. Exactly the same, right? Just with the Joe Pro on his secondary. Done.
Well, I'm curious to see what the helmet looks like, because they've been changing up the helmet from that original kind of shape. But I would expect it to be kind of a modern helmet with goggles on it.
Firefly has does he have a little tactical turtleneck?
Yeah.
Do you think they'd use that for this? Like his torso for that?
No. I would think no. I don't know why. I would think it'll have a similar look to it.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it to see if it makes sense, but yeah, I'm excited for this one as well. Oddly enough, like I think the way Lenny was talking about, he's excited about this particular figure too. So I've got a feeling it's going to be quite cool looking at classified scale. Anyway, that was Airborne. It's happening. 2024 name only reveal. Yada yada yada. Next up, and the segment I was on, they revealed that a 788 fire team is going to be happening. It's the second name only reveal that they gave on the show. Pulse exclusive 3-pack, Cobra troop builders to complement the HasLab Hiss tank called the 788 fire team. Red and black decos are likely here. I say that because Lenny literally said they'll follow the same deco as the Hiss tank. So this is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's what we've talked about this before as well, that whenever Hasbro has done like Jabba's sail barge, there was a supplemental collection of figures that were available at retail, as well as a Jabba's palace at retail, which I don't think they're going to that extent. But it does seem to be the same strategy where the HasLab funds, and then around the time that it's going to ship, there's some other stuff that they sell that will just be a nice supplement to it. And that sounds like that's what this is.
Absolutely. I'm intrigued to see what we get in terms of troop builders in this 3-pack. And also black and red. It sounds like we could be getting some pretty cool, like trooper, maybe officer, something like that. Maybe an alley viper. What else have we got at the moment? Friggin' snow serpent recently. Could you imagine that in black and red?
Yeah, I mean, or some pre-paint kind of stuff. So it could be stuff forward packed into this as well. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say what it'll be. But I kind of like the idea of it being something that's, specific to the Hiss, and that they're really, really working that out. It almost feels to me like it's kind of in the spirit of some of that, the Toys R Us 6-pack.
Yeah,
that we were getting, where take a few figures and give them a cohesive color set.
Yeah, big time. Toy Bounty Hunter says black and red Tele Viper. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
Eric says, I hope the 788 team has some kind of female trooper in it, like a Crimson Guard or Viper. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, like a female Viper in black and red would be sweet, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely. Super Science says, please be some Cobra Troopers and not Hiss Tank drivers. I don't think it'll be Hiss Tank drivers, Super Science Berserk, mainly because I don't know, or if they are, they'll probably be like different specialties, like a heavy gunner or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it will be, I don't think they'll just release the same figures effectively. I think that's maybe, this is definitely something else here. This is a specific 788 fire team. What are you thinking, Pat?
I just can't imagine them thinking that people are going to want a 3-pack of more Hiss drivers, or that they're going to want an additional Hiss driver, with their set. When we're already getting, what are we getting, 2 of that, right? With the Hiss tank.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for sure that would probably be one that I would rule out as far as Cobra Troops go.
Yeah.
I was going to rule one out, as crazy as it sounds, in the Hiss set, not the Hiss driver.
And also get the friggin' file card right. It's Recruits, guys. Okay,
that's right.
Get that. If that isn't on the file card on the classified,
if it is and it comes in the HasLab,
I will lose my crap, and everyone that now is aware of that will go hilariously nuts. That'll be like that's gonna amazing. Anyway, 788 fire team, brilliant stuff. SDCC 2023, they mentioned that the team will be running a very important panel with brand new name-only reveals, digital renders, and of course an in-hand look at the painted Dragonfly model and a production HasLab Hiss tank. They also said, which I didn't put on this graphic here, they also said that there would be their exclusive, which we know from leaks, etc., leak listings, that it's going to be Chuckles with Armory. So we know that that's going to be one of the exclusives. The other thing they mentioned, there's going to be some sort of like Famazon type release on the same day. So it'll be Chuckles, which they didn't confirm, obviously. Obviously, they didn't confirm that, but we can infer that it's going to be Chuckles. And this other Famazon type release figure. So no, Chuckles is not PulseCon, Charlock. That's been, for some reason, has been twisted in the leaks. No, Chuckles is SDCC, and the Crimson 3-pack is PulseCon. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I don't know why that. I still don't know why that still has stuck around as a mistake. That's worse than Phil's typo. It's not worse than Phil's typo. But anyway, are you excited for Chuckles, Pat?
Well, I'm curious to see him and to see how he's packed out for San Diego Comic-Con, because obviously they don't just do standard figure in the box, like a retail style figure just for San Diego. They've been well past that for years. Is the Amazon thing going to be, it's not just going to be a standard figure that's exclusive to Amazon, is it? Can we expect something boxed similar to like Mindbender or something like that day?
I don't know. All I know is that Emily said there will be she said Fanmazon, which is Fan Channel and Amazon and Pulse. It's the new thing that she says when she means Fan Channel, Amazon, and Pulse. So it won't just be Amazon. Tim says maybe it'll be Steel Core. That's a good shout, actually. You never know. Could be, because we haven't even heard anything about that 2-pack since it was revealed on February, the render. Right. So yeah, who knows? Sharlock thinks I am thinking it's going to be a Punisher-esque weapons locker wall. That would be pretty cool, actually, just like a wall with the, all the different weapons on it. That'd be well cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. No, we're pretty sure, Adam, Chuckles is SDCC, mate. Do not worry. But they literally said there's going to be their exclusive, and there's going to be a Fanmazon release as well. So that's what we can tell you officially, and unofficially we're trying to fill in the blanks a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, cool. Anywho, that's SDCC 2023. I'm excited for that. Obviously, name only reveals, digital renders, all that good stuff as well. And they're going to have the Dragonfly model, which, let's talk about Hasbro Dragonfly. The painted sample was shown off during the roundtable, including a first look at a painted male steel core sample in the cockpit. Desert diorama images are coming soon, apparently, Pat.
Oh, yeah? Really? I wonder when that'll be. Like, could that be 45 minutes ago?
It was worse. It was 20 minutes ago. That's how annoyed I am right now. I'm blaming Shooting the Galaxy for this completely. I'm not really. I'm just kidding. Great shots, by the way, Shooting the Galaxy. They are phenomenal. Okay. So here we go. Here's the painted. And I'm showing this like it's like showing you all of the, the good stuff where everyone is just looking at it on their phone right now, seeing all of the beautiful images already of it. But this was what they showed us in the actual roundtable, and it's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty. I love the deco on it. I love that. I thought that black stripe around the top was going to bother me for some reason, but I don't think it does. I think it just adds like a nice break to the vehicle. I don't know about you. What you think about that, Pat?
Well, I'm just looking at the deco and realizing how classified series it is. It is definitely not, even the deco is not just a upscale of the original Dragonfly. They're going with the solid black G.I. Joe logo on it rather than having it be the bright red, white, and blue. And then the back has some yellow hits on those.
Yeah, on those little fins.
Little fin things or wings or what, I don't know what to call those. It's definitely different.
The light up in the cockpit's really cool as well. I love that. Yeah. Really love that. And then the other shot, obviously they showed the cockpit coming up, but then this is the other thing. Like they didn't realize, but the steel core figure was in there, and they were like, "Oh, whoops! Here you go. This is the sample of the steel core figure and the painted sample." And again, that looks pretty dope in the cockpit with Wild Bill as well, doesn't it, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, we were going to see this today anyway, from it being in the shots Painted the Galaxy has taken, because it is there on the Hasbro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even better.
It is there. Yeah, I like the one of him passing off the glasses between him and Wild Bill.
I haven't seen that.
Don't forget your glasses. Yeah, it's a pretty cool shot.
Why can't I see that?
I don't know. I saw it earlier.
You've seen it. I haven't seen it. And now I feel like I'm behind. Okay. I'm annoyed that I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Anyway, it's not important. This is terrible radio. Yeah, there you go. There's a steel core figure. Yeah, and like you say, you can just see the beautiful images that Shooting the Galaxy did instead. Yeah, very cool. It actually, yeah, obviously you can see it in way. Oh, I love that shot with the headlights as well. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice. Anyway, what we were talking about. Oh, yeah, roundtable. Next up, the O-ring line is on hold, Pat. The team explained that the O-ring line is currently on hold until further notice, with the only exception being the Transformers collaborative sets. They mentioned, or there was a little bit of kind of trepidation when they talked about this, but there was definitely like a "we can't tell you everything" sort of vibe. But effectively, they had to, make a decision. Is what I got the crux of it there.
It didn't feel like she was being completely dismissive. It wasn't like, no, let's end that now so that there's no expectation or hope for the future. It was a, wow, that's kind of complicated. We did have a big 2023 planned, and then some stuff happened, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will see the O-ring stuff back, because we'll get to some more O-ring stuff later, and I'm hopeful to see more of that.
Yeah. It's a sad one, but like I guess we're still seeing them pop up in these Transformers collaborative sets. Obviously, we've got the Soundwave Thunder Machine, which we'll talk about in a little while. But yeah, that was that. HasLab His Tank update is still scheduled for fall 2023 delivery, so it's good to know that is still on track. No train puns. I haven't used many today, but there's a train pun because this tank has been featured on a train today already.
It's being delivered by train.
By brand new Repaints.
Yeah, poor Philip. It's not us. It's Hasbro won't let him live it down, and it's just a minor mistake. So apologies to Philip.
No,
I don't mean to drone on too long about
best.
it. It's just funny.
It's the best. I'm so glad it happened. It's like a really awesome bit of history for the G.I. Joe line.
It
definitely.
is. Yeah, at this point, yes.
So yeah, expect more information following SDCC. Though I've just added a few more C's there with this. But yeah, effectively still on track, which is great. Brilliant stuff. Excuse me. Now, fan feedback. The brand team is looking for fan feedback regarding new classified vehicles to be brought into the line. That's new classified vehicles, things that have never been done before in G.I. Joe. They will be monitoring chatter and comments going forward, so feel free to leave comments about what you'd like to see. Yeah, what would you like to, it's a difficult question though, isn't it? When it's very broad and vague, and it's like, what new stuff would you like to see? It's like effectively saying, design us a vehicle.
I think that instead of necessarily vehicles, meeting somewhere in between with some stuff that would work for dios, but maybe be really a lot of fun.
Yeah,
bringing some of that stuff, because obviously if it's just barrels, we probably could source those from somewhere else.
True.
Or if it's just like barbed wire, fans can find that stuff online if they want that for dio shots. But medium-sized stuff, I think, like some Cobra bunkers or surveillance ports or things like that, I actually would like to see some of that personally.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You mean Toxo Lab, did you say?
Yes, Toxo Lab. I think this is kind of a double question, because they definitely seemed open to new things, like just them making a brand new style tank that has never been seen before, and that'd be fine. But we definitely got talking about the Toxo Lab in it was last month's monthly, right? The monthly for May.
Yeah. Go check that out, by the way. That was a fun episode, and yeah, Pat bust out some sensational ideas in what I would say for his HasLab options. But yeah, the Toxo Lab is something, and you didn't take Toxo Lab out of it. Dr. Mindbender's lab, something like that. If they want to be a little bit more, specific to what they're doing and classified and everything, and then introduce elements like Toxo Vipers and stuff within it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be branded as a Toxo scenario. They could just do a laboratory for Dr. Mindbender and have those elements homaged in there, couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of things. You could also have it be hot wiring, or have it be like a bat factory. Bat factory, yes. With all sorts of like suspension, like, clamps, so that you just have to have a bunch of bats in a row that are being assembled.
So dope.
They're moving down an assembly line.
They're gonna be hanging from like the like chains and stuff, like and you'd move it round and they'd like come around. It'd be like the bioflesh regenerator from Terminator, but you'd have not, instead of flesh, you just have them coming around and like being fixed and built and then moving on.
Come with hot wire and overkill.
That'd be so dope. So dope. G.I. Joe headquarters broken into sets is a good shout down as well. Prison play set, says Troy. That's interesting. Yeah, like with like Law and Order or something. And or something like that would be kind of fun. Yeah, big time. Yeah, some good stuff here. I'm sticking to what's been said recently. New vehicles could be small boats or jet skis. I would pay $500 to $600 for a classified whale. Would you, Pat?
That's a lot, but I don't think that's I don't think it's unreasonable to think that would be expensive. $500 to $600, I think, would be almost tough to fit a whale in that price point.
Yeah, if you wanted to do everything with it, totally.
Yeah.
Dr. Mendes DNA tanks.
Small jet ski is a good idea. I think some stuff that's motorcycle sized that they can get to us at retail for not a ridiculous sum, that you can have a lot of variety on a shelf.
Yeah,
I think is a good idea.
Definitely. Dr. Mindbender's DNA tanks would be cool, says Adam. The bat vat, says Charlock, and she's trademarked it, so we can't use that anymore. Sorry, I owe you money now. A rattler. I would love a rattler, don't get me wrong, but it would be freaking huge. I'd love it.
It would be, but I don't know. Other than the wings, it's not that much more than making a dragonfly, I don't think, is it? The length of the dragonfly is almost the length of the rattler. I mean, it would be bigger.
You could make it smaller, I guess, but still, like the wingspan would make it way bigger all the way around, I guess.
For sure, yeah.
Firebat could be reasonable, but yeah, I could see Firebat. But like anything mid-size, especially like this doesn't all have to be HasLabs, by the way. They're just talking about new classified vehicles in the line, so it could be like mid-size. It could be all sorts of stuff like that, like ferrets and firebats and polar battle bears and stuff like that.
Maybe the three-wheeled vehicle that the Dreadnoks rode inside the earlier episodes of the cartoon.
Big time.
The Pyramid of Darkness, I think they rode that in. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, they did. And the on the space station, yeah. Troy Smith as a Swamp Masher would be cool. I haven't heard Swamp Masher been mentioned for a long time, and I love the Swamp Masher, but it is bonkers. It's like a clown car, but I think that's why I love it so much. It's just got so many random wheels, and I love it. I think it's great. Claws or Fangs is a good shout. Mamba would be top. Well, Lenny did mention the Mamba.
The Cobra Snake would be one of them. He mentioned the Mamba, really?
Yeah, he was talking about vehicles he'd like to make in the future. And Emily had to say that this is not in any way, shape, or form on development. This is just things that he likes, kind of thing. But yeah, the Mamba, he said he thinks he could do that. He really thinks he could do that, and I'd be there for it, mate.
Okay, I want to see how much I have to duck as I'm trying to spin those blades. You know how that thing was. Like,
yeah,
you'd try to get him started, and it took a little while. But then once you got him started, that's whenever it was working.
Absolutely. You could always do a buzzbore, and then you could get busy in the back of it. Shout out to Wordburglar.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's the fan feedback section. Next up, Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender are no longer in production in their current forms, but the team is taking feedback again for what repaints or redesigns you would like to see for both figures in the future. So when they were talking about that, I've got a feeling that there's a heavy lean here towards how could they reutilize this tooling. So in terms of Serpentor, Pat, what do you think they could do with him to kind of freshen him up?
Oh, hands down, I just want a new head for that figure. We've talked about this before. That is not my favorite 6-inch G.I. Joe figure by a long shot. I honestly would like to see maybe a retro carded Serpentor, so that he looks more like, which would basically be head to toe a brand new sculpt is what I would like to see. But I think that with all the various shirtless sculpts they have, they could do a retro carded Serpentor. And I've said this before, putting a new head on it that maybe would also be swappable onto the other Serpentor body.
Right.
But have it look like almost like the Marvel Comics.
Yeah, with his topless cape. Yeah.
Just kind of wearing the brown pants and has a cape and his cowl on.
He wore the brown pants. Yes, totally. I agree with that one. Dr. Mindbender, would you have him? Like, for me, actually, I will say one more thing on Serpentor. I would love a Python Patrol thing and then do some sort of like call out to the copper Serpentor kind of thing, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, in terms of Dr. Mindbender, that's a difficult one. Again, you could throw him in Python Patrol and do something different with him, or you could just utilize well, that's the thing. His other versions are so wildly different. One, he's clothed. Two, he's got a different head sculpt completely, or at least he's got like something that goes over. So maybe you could do like a secondary that went like a helmet thing that went over the current head, possibly. What would you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Those are supposed to be cybernetics on that Dr. Mindbender, though, the Battle Core one. So I don't think that I would like to have a removable thing. It just feels like if they're going to do that version, they should go all in and do a cybernetic Dr. Mindbender.
I'm sure they will. But in terms of reutilizing this current mold, yeah, that's a difficult one. That is a difficult one. Maybe just put the logo on his cape. Done. Put the logo on his cape, and we're sorted. Okay, so that's spent on Dr. Mindbender. Yes, some people are still waiting for these figures, by the way. Hopefully they still get them, considering they're no longer in production. They made, like, I want to say they made 4 times the amount they did of the previous Zartan Master in Disguise figure, which is on both of those figures.
It's kind of not surprising, though, because at that point, Zartan was already available as a retail figure, whereas this was like your first shot and only shot so far at Serpentor and Mindbender. So it makes a lot of sense to me that would be first.
Blue Serpentor, make him look more like Cobra. That is an idea, Robert H. That's an interesting one. Oh, that's a good shout, Robert. Yeah, just put a lab coat on him. That's a great idea, actually, because you wouldn't need necessarily just a secondary lab coat. You could use the body that's underneath it, I guess.
Yeah, it could be more Valor versus Venom style Dr. Mindbender. Or they could even go with the Spy Troops Dr. Mindbender, right? That was red with the... Or black with the red lines. It was almost like a Python Patrol.
It was like Python Patrol, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, you could get away with just doing that anyway. Totally. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, cool. Battle Core. A few people say. S Myers says Battle Core Mindbender, please. Actually, that's a good shout. The one that we didn't get would be amazing. Oh no, sorry, we did get Battle Core. We didn't get
Battle Core
Rangers. Rangers we didn't get. Yeah, sorry, I was getting confused with my Battle Cores then. I could see both of them. Obviously, you got the kind of the second version, which is pretty dope, and I do like that version. But then that one that didn't come out with that was ended up on the tactical battle platform box that didn't come out either.
And he had the scars from where the stuff was removed.
Yeah,
the metal stuff was removed from his face.
Genius. Yeah, a lot of people saying shirtless Serpentor. Yeah, exactly. We were just talking about that. Nerds. I'm not reading that name out, but yeah, shirtless Serpentor definitely from the comic is what we've been definitely eyeing up. Yeah, cool. Okay. JoJo Retro Classified. This was an interesting point. The JoJo brand team really likes the retro carded classified figures and is looking at ways to make them available to a wider audience if possible in the future. Now, I guess what they're meaning here is that moving away from it being a Walmart exclusive. And obviously, we've had leaks, listings that explain that we're getting more retro figures in the future. So the JoJo team were being very, they weren't giving it away by saying, yeah, we're definitely doing it, even though we kind of know they are definitely doing it. This is just them kind of like avoiding that a little bit. But it looks like we're going to get more retro carded stuff. Are you excited for that, Pat? Or do you want them to make some changes or do something differently here?
I'm hoping that whatever we are getting, that it's a larger difference between the retro card version and the standard version. I don't want just, they've changed his gloves and now he's on a retro card.
Yes, agreed. I was very disappointed in some aspects of retro and very blown away in others.
Yeah.
Like Gung Ho was phenomenal. I really like what they did with Lady J's accessories. Snake Eyes is phenomenal. But there's somewhere you just kind of go, I'm not sure that was necessary.
Yeah, I still can't find a Snake Eyes. And Gung Ho, and I saw a bunch of Walmarts had like all those figures on clearance. I think I saw somebody post a $2 sticker on their Lady J at Walmart. And whenever that happened, the Walmarts here just got in a new shipment and remained at full price. And, so there's a ton of Gung Ho's available. So I don't think that Snake Eyes is going to be showing up anytime soon.
Agreed. Rachel says thicken the cards, and I have to agree on that one.
And don't crumble them. How about that? Why don't you ship them?
Don't deliver them via carrier pterodactyl, maybe.
Right.
Maybe don't use an ancient trebuchet and light it on fire and then launch it to our doorstep, maybe.
Right.
Thanks, Walmart. No.
I mean, Hasbro's delivering the HISS tank by train. We know this.
That's fact.
Get on board, Walmart.
Get on board, Walmart, and also hire some new recruits. New recruits, anything, you know. I can't help myself now. Right then, that's Retro Classified. Finally, JoJo Classified 2025. The team is currently working on the 2025 lineup of JoJo Classified products. The focus is on world building and how to expand the line even further. Pat, this just means, I mean, this is very positive for Classified. It's not like it's not like guaranteed that it's going to keep going until 2025, but this is extremely positive and hints that the line is doing well enough to continue.
Good news, because with so few figures lately, I was worried that things were going to end.
Drying up a little bit, isn't it? It's drying up a bit. This month has been, I mean, we haven't seen a pre-order for 2 days, mate. How do you feel about that?
Well, she did say that there are some pre-orders due in July.
Yeah.
So
we get some more coming. Yay. Yeah, so crazy stuff. More Classified coming in 2025, it looks like. Ancient Trebuchet for the win. That's outside the box thinking we need. You're hired, says Digital Diarrhea. Yes, I'll take the job. That's how I deliver stuff. Anyway, brilliant. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, on to the next thing. Well, I should do a video first, shouldn't I? Classic McLeod. Yeah, so the last thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is YOJO June. I would say the final day, but it's technically today. YOJO June came to a satisfying conclusion with the final reveals and pre-orders for the month. The worst kept secrets of Nunchuck, Crimson Viper and Firefly were all in attendance, as well as the Transformers G.I. Joe collaborative Soundwave Thunder Machine with Ravage, Zartan and Zorana. It was all leaked to some degree the night before, which was a little disappointing, but the promo shots look great, and rather than me explaining what we saw in detail here, I will let Pat and future me do it instead. Yay, that's us. So... So, Nunchuck, Crimson Viper, Firefly, Soundwave. Let's go through one by one what happened in there. So we had obviously pre-orders, yada, yada, yada. Lenny, Emily, and BMAC were in attendance. The little surprise there that BMAC was sneaking in. I say surprise, it had already been kind of ruined the night before and all that jazz.
Yes, as soon as you see BMAC, you're like, oh, it's going to be a Transformers crossover.
100%. BMAC equals Transformers crossovers. Shout out to BMAC as well. I really like BMAC. He's a good lad. And the whole team as well for doing amazing things this month. What a month. Crazy stuff. Ralph Nunchuck Baducci was first. Now, they spelt it wrong on the screen, but don't worry. On the box art, it is spelled correctly. It's Nunchuck with the C-H-U-K. Anyway, that's by the by. What did you think, Pat, when you saw Nunchuck?
He looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff like this. I like the shoulder pads and just the general look of the figure. And I always just feel like he better come with some nunchucks. He's got plenty. The shoulder things are really cool actually, because they're like the upgraded classified version of the ones you would see on so many figures in the vintage line, like Xandar, Zorana, Zartan, Ninja Force Scarlet. Yeah. There's others, but so yeah, I like the fact that they're kind of like doing their own little version here, and I think they're fixed by a strap around the bicep as well, so they can come off, which is cool. So you can have like a more classic nunchuck if you feel like it. But yeah, I love this. I love his headgear. I love the look of it. He doesn't really have the right to look this good, I think, but he just comes off looking so sick. And there's some shots. There's him hanging from the roof. I joked actually when I did the kind of news burst for this that it was like all the shots looked like you could have used a Ninja Turtles diorama because it was all rooftops, and he kind of has that Ninja Turtles vibe. He's green, obviously. He's only got the eyes showing, and he's got the bandana. He kind of looks like a Ninja Turtle to me. Yeah, there's a lot of his gear that could be reused for things too, like the H straps on him. Those aren't from the Retro Snake Eyes, are they? I don't think so. Yeah, well, they could be used on an 82 character. Big time.
got the little knife as well that goes in the holster there. I like these shots too. You can see I love how the nunchucks are holstered in the back of the belt as well. Really nice. And he said they're very flexible around the chain, so you're not going to get any like that horrible whitening where it's going to flex and all that kind of jazz. So that's nice. It's not much else to say really. I just love every aspect of this bugger. Actually, there's one thing that struck me that I was a little upset about, Pat. He's not wearing sneakers.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I actually had never really noticed that Nunchuck was wearing tennis shoes or sneakers. I didn't notice that.
How dare you? How dare you?
You never noticed.
Fake fan, just going around making typos in file cards and blaming Phil for it. That's what really happened. Phil just took the fall, didn't he?
No, that was Philip. It's a lot of the hard work of YOJO was Philip grinding away, getting stuff up on the figure section.
I like it. I would have I'm not going to say it's a deal breaker that he doesn't have sneakers. I just kind of wish they'd gone to that degree. But then again, if Pat hasn't noticed that he wears sneakers in the vintage figure, then I don't expect any normal human being to notice. Do you know? That's not an insult.
Like,
Pat,
we have Pat, and then we have normal human beings.
Yeah, I mean, you're like a level above, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You're like an intelligence level above most of humanity. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I know you won't accept that, but that's what I'm saying. Love the deco as well. I love how they did the camo. Because that could have, on the figure, on the 3 3/4 figure back then, it was all very, basic lines and everything. But I love how they've kind of, made that a little bit more intricate and sexy. It's amazing. Nunchuck wears Chuck Taylor brands? ? Says the figure 6-pack. Yeah, I think they were Chucks, weren't they? I'm not sure if they have the circle. I'm going to have another look at them. But sneakers, trainers, as we say in the UK. Cool. Great figure. I also love the Ryu cutscene headband positioning on that shot as well.
Yeah.
And also the Crimson Vipers that are in both of those shots. Okay. And then, some shots of the actual figure. It looks great in physical form. Love all the details. Someone was mentioning they didn't like the fact the blades hung out the bottom of the sheaths. They felt that was a little bit dangerous.
It's a little Ninja Turtle-like, though, I think, is the feeling that I'm getting. They're not just, up on his back. They could have gone that literal with Leonardo.
They should have given him all the weapons of the Ninja Turtle, shouldn't they? They should have given him swords, a bow staff, and size.
He doesn't have that weird-shaped, large sword that I can't quite place what kind of sword that's supposed to be in the vintage figure. But then if you look at his package art on the vintage Nunchuck, it kind of looks like maybe they never scaled it down. Like it was. There was a lot of that we got was the 2-up of the sword.
That's so true. There was so many things where the size of the weapons were a little bit skew, weren't they? Spearhead's rifle is massive.
Sniper's rifle.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Anyway, so Nunchuck looks awesome, and they're touching the blades. That's dangerous. It looks great. Looks awesome. Not much else to say. He was a fan channel, Amazon and Pulse pre-order. I still believe you can kind of get him in most places. So awesome. Here's the box art. Again, very nice, very vibey, very Tokyo neon rooftop kind of vibe, and a nice call out to the pink on the original Ninja Force cards there, Pat. You like that little addition in the artwork in the background?
Yeah, that's clever, the way that they did that.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely a nod to the vintage figure there. Yeah. And I've looked all over that package and I can't see any major homage. Maybe it's a location situation going on there, but I have to say I couldn't find anything. So if you have found anything, let us know in the comments. And then also Crimson Viper. Not a great deal to go through here. It's a red Viper, but it still looks pretty nice. Are you going to be partaking in any Crimson Vipers, Pat?
No. Maybe. He's not fan channel or anything, is he? He's just standard release, isn't he?
He's mainline, yeah.
Yeah, so you never know. If there's a sale, maybe. But I don't have any particular plans to pick this up.
Yeah, and there's nice shots here again. They're taking his forearm gauntlets off there too, so you can see his skin. Yeah, pretty. Again, what more else can you say that we haven't said many times about the Viper figure? Love the shots though, and like I said, yeah, mainline retail, pulse, yada yada yada. Now, the interesting thing about the Crimson Viper though is the box art. There's some nice little call outs here. We've got the Sky Strikers on the left hand side. And then we've got I nearly said Entertainment Earth. Extensive Enterprises building on the right. That's amazing, isn't it? Why have I never made that connection?
I don't know that I have either, to be honest.
Like, EE.
They're just stored in your brain right next to each other, and it came out just now.
That's just an Entertainment Earth distribution facility on the right-hand side, guys. That's all that is. No, it's Extensive Enterprises. So my narrative thought process here, I'm not sure what you think. The Joes are coming in their Sky Strikers. They're kind of like, they're basically they're attacking the base and the Crimson Viper is protecting it. What would you say?
Yeah, but one of them seems to have managed to land.
He's not doing a very good job then, is he, this Crimson Viper?
Right. I mean, it's like that scene where you see somebody sneaking up behind the guy, and it's like, obviously he should know. And it's the Crimson Viper's looking into the camera while there's just a Sky Striker
sneaking up behind
him.
Sneaking up, like walking, like rather than wheeling, like the wheels are like little legs, and it's kind of doing that behind him, and then it's that's amazing. Yeah, he's too busy posing for glamour shots, Charlotte. Absolutely. Yes, we did notice that, Jamie Lynn. I did actually make a comment about the bare arms because they took the gauntlets off on the previous image. I think it was that one. Yeah, I did. We mentioned that one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that is the Crimson Viper. Again, I'm quite interested in the packaging there more so than, again, it's a Viper. It'll, if you're an army builder and you want to get that Crimson team going, fantastic, good on you. But yeah, it's I would say that Nunchuck and Firefly Segway were definitely the most interesting of these three pre-orders. And this one is cool. I got to admit, I do like some of the things that are going on here. The backpack's really nice and detailed. The fact that the drone clips to the bottom of it and the two mines clip to the little pegs on the lower sides. Just very cool stuff. You can carry all this gear as well. Are you happy with this Firefly, mate?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've talked about this a couple times. There's one picture in here, though, that I'm kind of confused exactly what is going on.
Oh, okay. I don't think I put it in here. I don't think I put it in here. Oh, right, okay.
Now I'm wondering what you didn't put in here, but how does that? It looks like the vehicle's just attached to the very bottom of it.
The back, if you imagine the back of the remote controlled device, literally the back of it has a little hole in it, and the peg just pegs into the bottom of the backpack. So it's like an elongated. It's like the full length, basically, of the backpack and the.
For some reason, when I was looking at this and it was cut off at the bottom, I thought that those were the back wheels, and it was somehow clipped in behind him,
like folded up or something. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. No, it just hangs out the bottom basically. I love all the details in the backpack though, and I love that little red, that little kind of red, kind of like almost like lifeline zipping across there is pretty dope. Yeah, nice stuff. And he's got his little detonator in hand there. Yeah, the shot I'm talking about is the one where he's digging. You'll see it on Hasbro Pulse. We posted the images as well on our Facebook page. But he's like got a knife and he's digging the mines out of the ground, like carefully, and he's on his front. And I didn't put those in because I completely forgot to. So I apologize for that, guys. But we do get these shots of him seeing all like the night vision goggles, and I like that splash of green on the pouches as well. Nice kind of break in the color there going on, and obviously that's what is on. I think that's on the vintage figure.
If it's not on the vintage figure, then it's on the 25th one.
Yeah, definitely. Have we seen the 3-0 Firefly? We certainly have. I got him the other week. He's quite similar to this one. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of like interesting crossover going on. Definitely. And also Mezco have just brought out a Firefly as well. So it's Firefly-tastic 2023. Oh, Charlotte says, I've said it before, but he's going to need the Cobra Island head to make him look better. The Cobra Island head was actually pretty cool, and it had a lot of personality in it.
It did. Yeah.
I know what you're saying on that one. I wonder if it would look good on that, because there's like a whole central section that isn't camoed. It's just camo on the sides, I think, on that one. So I'm sure it would work and look good, but I don't know, it might stand out a little bit.
The expression on his face was very good. There was a lot of character coming out of just the eyes.
Oh yeah,
on that Cobra Island one.
Definitely. There's another good shot of the night vision goggles. Mainline retail, don't forget. And the funniest part ever, Pat, he's blowing up the Baywatch set.
Yeah, maybe it's the Baywatch movie set, and he's accidentally gotten revenge on the wrong Dwayne Johnson. So if you've seen the end of Retaliation, like somehow he's come back. And
he's gone through a worlds without. He's gone through a worlds without end. He's gone through a worlds without end like portal, and he's ended up in a weird universe where Roadblock is blimmin'. He's not Mitch Buchanan in it though, is he?
No, he's not Mitch Buchanan. No, Mitch. No. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I've blocked that movie out of my head. The Baywatch movie's pretty bad.
Yeah. Agreed. Anyway, explosions. We like a bit of explosions. My first thought was we were on a beach and it was blowing up that was like a sun umbrella, but in actual fact it's a hot dog cart. And I still don't know what connection he has with a hot dog cart, whether it's just a location thing or it's in the comics.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is a Broca Beach thing. I could swear there was a hot dog cart in the comics. There has to have been.
There must have been. Someone says might be the Joe Resort from the Deke series, says UB Play N. That's actually a good shout. That resort did have that kind of vibe, didn't it? Anyway, yeah, that's that. And I think that's everything. No, it isn't. Of course it isn't everything. Thunder Machine's next.
Come on. Yeah, that's what we were talking later. We were going to get to this.
Sorry. Thunder Machine looks great. That is a great vehicle mode transformer. I'm sorry. Perfection. Love it. What do you think of the vehicle mode, mate?
I'm curious to see if the antenna is articulated like the ones on the Ostriker were. That was such an improvement.
Yeah.
Obviously, the roll cage in the front is a lot thicker and reinforced. I totally see why they did that. If you're going to be moving this thing around, it probably needed to be a little more robust.
I agree with that. Yeah, I've only just noticed that it's a bit thicker and it looks a little bit more kind of, I would say, a little bit more cartoony in that aspect now as well, that kind of thickness. But no, I think it's the vehicle modes have been so good in the crossover series.
Yep.
Ore Striker is perfect. Actually, the Ore Striker is perfect. It's like the perfect version of the Ore Striker in that version of it. I would argue that the Faux Striker is even better than the Ore Striker, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion because it's got more different features.
It has a lot going on. That's a good update for sure.
But in terms of the original Ore Striker, I think that Bumblebee one you don't get a better version than that. But they're always so solid. The Hiss tank was solid as well. Like, you transformed it and it was like, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is great. I love this. And then of course you've got Soundwave carrying Zartan and Zarana. No Thrasher. Would you have expected, Pat, that Thrasher and Zarana would have been a better combo for this set?
I was not expecting. No, not really. I mean, Zartan's going to sell better than Thrasher is going to sell, and that's been their strategy so far. It wasn't like we got a Hiss driver with Megatron.
Or Crankcase.
Or
Good point.
Crankcase. Yeah.
Good point.
I like that somebody. I wish I knew who to credit online. They said it looks like Zartan's talking into a fan to do that voice for Soundwave.
That was one of the first comments I saw. Like, not comments, but like a tweet or a post. That was one of the first posts I saw regarding this image. And I know exactly what you mean. And I can't remember who had posted it, but it was so funny. Absolutely brilliant.
I think the sword is interesting. That's completely extra. You know, it's very Dreadnought like. But that looks like it's a sword that comes off that I assume Soundwave can hold.
There you go. There he is holding it.
There it is. Yep.
A lot of people in the comments saying bring on the Triple T crossover. Yeah, that has been kind of leaked by the Sarge himself. So it's very likely that we'll see that at some point. I'm actually excited to see what Triple T transforms into, like what character. Who would you put with the Triple T? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, haven't we, off camera?
There's only that one wrestling issue of the original Generation 1 comic, and I can't. Who's that? Was that Road Handler?
Oh, so you're going to go super deep cut. You're not going to do what you think Hasbro are going to do, which would be like Ironhide Cup.
Right. Probably some like a tough guy type character. Yeah. So probably Ironhide would make sense.
I think Cup would also make sense, but mainly from a vehicle mode shape sort of way. Yeah. I know his was more of a slipper, and Sergeant, and then the Triple T is more of a sneaker. If you talk about how they look, you know, Cup's more of a slide, and the Triple T is more of a basketball sneaker, but kind of got that similar front going on. Anyway, that's by the by in it, really. Someone says got to be Brawn. That would be a good shout actually for Triple T.
Yeah, that's true. Brawn would be a really good one to go along with Sergeant Slaughter.
It's stockier as well.
All your muscle all into one set coming in.
Big time.
Yeah, this image is really interesting to me. I'm almost surprised. I mean, I guess I don't expect more Transformer, but because I think that we knew Ravage was not going to be transforming.
Yeah.
But the color separation on the Thunder Machine, the fact that the front end of it is black and then the rest of it is that blue with red, it kind of would have been neat if the front end would have transformed into Ravage.
Yeah, like he literally became the front end. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, just kind of hanging off his arm, so it feels like there's a little bit of an opportunity for some mass to have been spent on Ravage.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah, it splits in half, doesn't it, and just folds round over the arms as like protection. I will say though, I'm very surprised at how good Soundwave looks. They've really there's been a definite minimization of kibble in most areas here. Now, obviously, he's got the back kibble, he's got the shoulder things, yes, but in terms of like what the Thunder Machine is, how they get it into this has blown my mind, honestly.
Yeah, because we tried thinking this through ourselves for a while, and this looks pretty good. It looks good. And obviously then the O-ring figures are their own topic.
Shall we talk about Ravage first? Yeah, we will get to the O-ring figures. My fault. That makes more sense, actually, Pat. We should have talked about them first. But Ravage, original deco, what are your thoughts there? Kind of nice to time in, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure that this was colored this way for the animation because maybe at some point they were still thinking about going with the blue micro change, the Microman micro change release of the mold. But but ultimately it didn't go that way. So it's an interesting, it's definitely a callback to this. That's definitely what we have going on here, right?
Tyrone Wester says that Ravage does transform. It's the Masterpiece mold.
What? Is that Masterpiece Ravage? Thought it did not transform.
I wasn't sure I didn't know it transformed. I was unaware that was what it did. I thought it was
Ravage looks so good that maybe it is.
That's news to me as well. I thought it was a Ravage in like locked into that form.
Wow, is it the Masterpiece mold? Yeah, because I mean it looks like it has joints, but I could see them.
Does it have anything on the description?
I didn't look. You'd think that we would see it in its other mode.
Yeah, like some image of that maybe. Maybe they just didn't have the they didn't have like the model to do that with initially. Let me just have a quick look just to double check because that is.
Yeah, it does look like it is the Masterpiece mold for sure.
Well, that's brilliant news. That's great news.
Really? Wow.
Thanks. Who was it said that? Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone.
Yeah, it is.
Brilliant to know that then.
Huh. Okay. Well,
so we at least get a tape out of it. That's good.
You'd think that they would be labeling it that way.
So he obviously, I imagine he interacts with Soundwave's chest then as well.
Yeah, if that's the case, that the Masterpiece ones I think were the same scale as the vintage tapes. I think that those were compatible as far as size goes.
Brilliant. That's great. That's news to me, and I'm very happy to find that out. And we'll get some confirmation actually as well. But to be honest, that's wicked if that is the case. Okay, well, moving on from Ravage, we got Zorana.
For sure is the case.
And Zartan. Do you like the decos on these, mate?
Oh yeah, for sure. They've done a lot here with Zorana.
There's a lot going on. Yeah,
there's a ton going on with Zorana. I like the fact that they have kind of given her a new head, which feels fitting since this will be like head number 3 for Zorana.
3 heads are better than 1.
Yeah, and then of course the fact that they removed the color change. I'm sure that everybody's seen it online a few times by now, but the original figure was going to have bare shoulders like this figure was going to, but then whenever they were dealing with a color change, I don't believe that the durability of the plastic was good enough to hold up, so they needed to change the shoulders away from being the flesh tone, so they gave her Zartan's shoulders.
Can I just confirm, converting Ravage figure includes a Ravage figure that converts from cassette mode to Jaguar mode in 10 steps. In cassette mode, this figure can fit inside the Soundwave figure's chest. There you go.
Okay, that's crazy that they have all that in there. Yeah, I just kind of assumed that it was...
I just assumed as well. I was like, nah.
Well, you know what? I didn't assume. I could swear that we had confirmation early on that it was going to be a static Ravage figure, but it was not the one that was from the from the San Diego set.
Same.
That's what I thought I'd heard.
Yeah, we'd had there was definitely talk that it wasn't going to transform originally, but now they do, so that's great and it's brilliant. I just wanted to kind of confirm that was the case, and I wasn't dismissing the very intelligent people in the comments who were telling me that was the case. I just wanted to confirm it, and thank you very much for making that clear to us, guys. That's awesome. But yeah, I love the fact that they did the tattoo as well. Or Lenny called it the seahorse dragon.
Yeah, and this figure has tracking numbers on her forehead, so this is really not like a painted model or anything. This is going to be like a sample, so it's going to be close to this.
Yeah,
I do wish that her elbows were fully flesh tone.
Yeah, I think they might change that. That might be early sample scenario thing.
I kind of would have liked to have seen her left leg be flesh tone as well, because that was another thing that was changed from the original design.
Oh yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see it in that image as well that it was just flesh there on show. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
cool, man.
That would have been cool. And I think that the tattoo actually is a twins thing. Like it was going to be a matching tattoo between her and Xandar, but of course, once they were getting rid of the bare shoulders, that had to go. So maybe we'll eventually get a Xandar as well in the O-ring line. That would be awesome.
Figure 6-pack says Xandar was missing. He was pulling a John Cena. He's just doing that the whole time. Or he was doing the faceless master thing like that. You can't see his face. Yeah, so that's Zorana. There's her card art as well, which is pretty cool. Again, I love that they've utilized that old school artwork. It looks so good, man. She looks great. Great carded update on that one.
And Zartan's been updated as well.
Yes, Zartan, we should talk about there. It's got a new head as well, or kind of more detailed
new
shoulders. New shoulders, new deco. Looks pretty cool. Looks nice. Looks very kind of animated.
It would have been neat to see his leg pads match the card art. That would have been neat. That's my segue back to the card art.
There you go. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I love that card art. It's probably one of it's terrible, but at the same time, it's awesome. It's like fun school vibes for me.
I'm hoping we get the white border around it again. It seems like they keep on wanting to drop the white border from the cards.
This could just be a very early mock-up, though. Yeah, you're right, though. If they doesn't have, that needs to be. They just need to keep the white border, guys.
Did they drop his pistol from the art?
It's on there, yeah. It's his left hand. Yeah. It just, yeah, it's difficult to see from this distance. How far away from your screen are you?
Well, these are new glasses, but I have trouble enlarging on these pictures. The trick of just zooming in skips to the next image instead of enlarge. So it's hard to do that.
Mate. I know what you're saying. Anywho, that I think that's everything. They obviously signed off, and YOJO June. That is YOJO June, Pat. Apart with the exception of the Dragonfly images, which went up earlier today, and which I probably won't even do a news burst about because we've talked about them so much, and you guys can see them, so it's fine. Anywho, that's it. On to shoutouts, buddy. Cool with that?
Oh, good.
Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
Love that track. Shout outs, buddy. Go for it.
Shout out, of course, to Philip, who, I owe him an episode of Articulated Points. And to be honest, I paused the transfer of it to him in order to do this. So it will be coming very soon. I am hoping that we are looking. Well, no, it's okay. I am hoping that we will get it online later today. So be on the lookout for if it's not today, it'll probably be tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully there'll be an Articulated Points coming very soon. And thank you to Philip for giving us so much enjoyment throughout the episode, for his one minor error that is just continually not being dropped by Hasbro and their licensees.
And all of their new recruits.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Phil, for probably the funniest historical typo ever. Love it. Peppermint Oil Capsule, thank you so much for the super chat. Cobra Convergence 7 begins on YouTube tonight, and we've got a Joe Fest review tomorrow night on Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse. Everyone's invited, full force. Thank you very much, Peppermint.
I feel like I should have shouted that out myself, so I appreciate him doing that.
Yeah, he's done it for us. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll be doing, like I said, I was going to wait till next week to talk about it, but that's cool. Cobra Convergence obviously be kicking off in July, and we'll be doing a special Cobra Convergence themed weekly episode live on, I think, the 8th. I can't remember. I should know this by now. No, I don't think it is the 8th. It could be. I don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be soon anyway. And then and you can check out the website as well for all of the details. Anywho, and you're doing an Articulated Points episode, Pat, as you said earlier.
Yes,
as well.
We have to get that together. So that's what I will be starting on that with Philip. He and I will probably touch base for the episode going out today, and then follow up, because we already have our plans for the month. We just have to get it all hammered out and edited.
Absolutely. I know that feeling. Peppermint Oil Capsule says, darn it, I could have saved a $5. Yeah, you could have done. If Pat had been a bit quicker on the shout out
myself, if I would have thought about it earlier and sent you a, hey, make sure we shout this out.
Amazing. To the fam, love you all. Kate and Phoebes and the UK and the US, you know who you are. Shout out to everyone. To Brian Sauer for our amazing graphics. I love our wetsuit graphics at the moment. It makes me feel very summery every time we come on and do this show. Thanks also to Brian for getting some stuff done a day early, for obviously, having to do this a day early. Also, sorry for having to, cancel tomorrow's weekly, but at least you get it today. You get it early. Is that a problem? It's a problem for us because we missed some of the news, but that's not important. Also, to remind you guys that disassembly required, it will be on November 3rd and 4th at Hy-Vee Hall, downtown Des Moines in Iowa, and it's a great convention, and you should all go. It's brilliant, and it's got just amazing stuff. We'll be doing a little bit more about Assembly Required in the coming weeks, including talking to Brian about the upcoming show and what to expect and everything. So look out for that. And also, I didn't get enough time to really get the video done for this, but Renegade Game Studios dropped some amazing images some kind of like interesting images as well, which we'll get to in a sec, from all their upcoming games. So the role-playing game, they dropped this nice kind of like page kind of in like preview with Serpentor in there. Love the artwork of Serpentor. They're giving it the big one. Excuse me. They also dropped some new card images for the Vanguard Strike expansion for Mission Critical. So we got some barbecue stuff, basically. That's a brutal shot of barbecue taking out a couple of troopers, isn't it? With an axe, no less.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it looks like he just kind of smacks them. Maybe he smacked them with the side of the axe.
Flat end of an axe. Yeah. Tang, 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 tang. That's what he's done there. But that's very wicked. And then obviously cutting into a hiss tank there. That's hardcore. And then finding another exit. I like these cards, man. I love these little pieces of art that kind of, they're effectively adding to the lore of the line with this kind of brand new kind of like bespoke art for the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And this is how you play with barbecue. You know, he doesn't just put out fires. You know, he uses that axe all the time
to flatten the faces of some Cobra troopers.
Right.
Also for the Mission Critical Midnight Storm expansion, we got a couple of previews as well from DICE, who is doing a bone breaker on Jinx, which is a bit harsh, and just making a mess with one of his weapons in the other one. Yeah, nice stuff. Check them out. Renegade Game Studios, go nuts. I really cannot wait to start playing these games with people. I just need to find friends and time. Easy, right? And then this one popped up, which is like a mashup of, because they're doing like a mashup kind of like crossover sort of vibe with the games. And we get Lord Mindwave-Z, or Mindwaves, however you want to pronounce that. And effectively, it's Dr. Mindbender, Lord Zed, Shockwave, and anyone else in there?
Shockwave, Mindbender,
and yeah, Lord Zed. Yeah, from
yeah, I think it's just the three of them. I'm
from
looking at it, just trying to make sure in my mind that I don't see somebody else in there.
Power Rangers, G.I. Joe,
Yeah,
and Transformers crossover. Yeah. So I think this is freaking hilarious. Pat was like, it was too much for his mind to contain, so he had to just like you basically switched off, didn't you? Like when you didn't,
I kind of did, yeah.
Errored out when you saw
like
this.
I saw the Lord Zed and the Mindbender, and then the Shockwave, and I was just like, it's too much for me to really analyze. Like I haven't even mentally gotten into the legs of this until we're sitting here right now.
You didn't even get to the legs part. That's amazing. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just a bit of fun, really, and kind of obviously makes a lot of sense with the Renegade Game Studios kind of like.
Does it make a lot of sense?
Well, they do, for the crossover, like it makes sense when you know what they're doing, but it doesn't. It make, if you're talking about sense in general, no. Amazing. Anyway, that is it, I think. No, there's more. There's way more. Skeletron posted this 6-inch Wolf Trooper images. Lovely stuff. Really excited for these. We did their update last week, of course. There's a few delays and they're spacing out the delivery so that we're getting stuff on a regular basis, which I think is a great idea. Kind of like, so you're not just waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it. You're going to get certain elements of that, throughout the year and then into next year. So that's great. And this Wolf Trooper looks phenomenal.
Yeah. The 6-inch stuff is going to be good. Yeah,
I can't wait. Shout out to Michael Kleppinger and the good folks at the G.I. Joe 3D printing Facebook page for sending me these adorable, tiny little 3D printed Robo Skull. I almost forgot what it was for a second there. I never really talk about the Robo Skull, so it's something that's not really on my mind. Lols. Red Wolf and Baron Ironblood figures. Now they're so tiny, but so cool and detailed. How cute is that, Pat?
Yeah, it's really cool. I like this one. I saw it for sure.
And
I
then
just like the way that he kind of prepared a package with one of those things and put a sticker on top. Yeah, it looks good. Shout
out to the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast as well. And also his Techno Viper 3D, I think it is, on most, I think it's on IG. So go check him out and check the 3D printing group out.
thank you so much. It was very, very kind of you to send this to me. And also there's a shot of my 6-inch customs of Red Wolf and Baron Ironblood, just to kind of give you an idea of how tiny those things are. Tiny, tiny. And that's it. Thank you to everyone. One more shout out to an anonymous friend of the show and viewer. They wanted to remain anonymous. They didn't want to do this for the plaudits. They just wanted to say thank you for what we do for the show. They sent me Flint, the Ultimates Flint. So I'll get stuck into that. Thank you very much for doing so. I really appreciate it. They didn't want me to say the name, so I won't. But thank you very much. It was very kind of you, and I appreciate it very much. Right, Pat, here we are, Full Force Weekly. Thanks to all our viewers, listeners, patrons. Thanks to Pat for sticking around for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
It's been great.
Had a special time. We'll be back to the normal time next week.
Yes. Yes, we will. It's just this weekend, guys. Other things are happening, so I won't be available. So here we're doing it today. So thank you very much, Pat. And hope you have a great rest of your day, buddy.
You too.
Yeah. And for the rest of you guys, the rest of you cheese bags, you know what's up. After 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. See you in a few minutes, right?
Bye.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.